Hello, dear Rebel, and welcome to the next solo episode of the Reflective Rebels podcast. I find myself in Geltwood today, and I'm not going to try and video this one. I've decided that it'll be nicer for me, and perhaps for you listening, if I'm just soaking up the world around me. So I'm sat on a log, a wet one, albeit, and I don't know if you can hear the birds, but I'm surrounded by the birds, and the river is going past down the hill from me. So the audio might not be great, but I'm in a happy place. So we're going to do it here. We'll hope that the pouring rain doesn't come back. If it does, I'll get wet and you might hear something else on the audio track. So today, what's it about? It's about the fact that you are not a project, that you're a human, and it's about exhaustion. So it's about the kind of exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix, the kind of exhaustion where you feel like if just one more thing happens, the tears that are sort of always there are going to come tumbling out, or that anger that you're sitting on the edge of is going to come flushing out in a scream. One more thing, one more email from a client, or even last night in the dark, I kicked a bloody glass over that the kids had left in the living room at about 10:30 and ended up having to get the Hoover out. And sometimes you just think, oh, this is all just so much. And I suppose the problem that I have as a human, and I think a problem that many of us share, is we learn as kids that the harder we work, the faster we run, the better we're going to do. And so a pattern definitely in my life, certainly when I was younger, was work harder, push more, achieve more, and we sort of build our lives around those beliefs and those attitudes and those approaches. And yeah, in my 20s they seem to work, and I don't know, maybe I had more energy for it, but when we force ourselves into that heavy workload, often it's purely a self-imposed pressure to achieve when we actually step back and think, hell, what am I doing and why am I doing this? And those old formulas seem to work, run faster, work harder. But ultimately, if you are going on like that for any period of time, what starts to happen is the energy starts to sap. Your memory gets worse. Your focus isn't great at work. Your cognitive abilities are fading. And if it carries on, probably you'll find, like I did, that your anxiety is skyrocketing, that you're not sleeping, you're waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, your thoughts are racing, you're grouchy, your immune system's probably in the dump, so you're getting colds and you've got headaches all the time. So you're in that position where on paper, from the outside, everything looks fan-flipping-tastic. But in reality, on the inside, you feel a bit of a mess. So you notice that exhaustion and you think, right, I'm a smart kid. I'm a smart kid? Yeah, I'm a smart person. Where did that come from? I don't know. But, I know what to do about this. I know all the things. I'm gonna do the things that Instagram tells me. I know what I've got to do, and I know it's going to make me feel better. I'm going to drink the right milliliters of water in a day. I'm going to get the meditation app and do a meditation when it pings. I'm going to take that magnesium that those adverts keep saying, or, stick some collagen powder in my morning coffee, and I'm going to use my watch to track my sleep, and I'm going to have the best morning routine. I'm going to set my alarm half an hour earlier, and I'm going to do a yoga exercise on a mat, and then I'm going to journal at night, and I'm going to be doing all this breath work. Oh, fuck. You know, I'm exhausted just thinking about all of those messages that we're bombarded with, that sort of the self-care industry, if you like, is throwing at us. And do you know what? That's not what we need. I'm not saying all of those things aren't good, but that's not rest. That's just your perfectionist, run harder, work faster mindset in a sort of cuddly dressing gown. You know, if you're approaching that, and I hate even to use the term self-care, you know, what a horrible term, ick. If you're approaching looking after yourself like that, and you're almost trying to do it perfectly, healing or getting better or just having some energy or having a fucking life for all that matters, it just becomes another standard that we have to meet, becomes another thing that we fail at and beat ourselves up about and feel shit. Rest just becomes this thing that we can optimize and get an app for, and you can't escape those patterns and that self-imposed pressure by just applying those thoughts to different subject matter. You know, you're taking the pattern from work and you're just applying it to this gorgeous world of self-care. You sleep and then you check a score to find out how well you've slept. You've stopped being able to listen to your body and trust your gut and go with your heart and live, if that's how you're living your life. And I'm not judging anyone who's doing any of these things in moderation, but what I'm inviting you to do is have a really deep think about your relationship with these things and how you're doing them and whether they actually make you feel good. I wanted to bring in a bit of neuroscience, and I hope that I won't bore you and switch off, but as I'm looking at the sunlight which is now dappling through the trees, we're going to go there. There's an amazing book called, and it's totally gone out of my mind, I'm so chilled, it's called The Brain at Rest, thank you, by Joseph Gibelli. And in it, it's sort of on the cutting edge of neuroscience, really, and he talks about this network in our brain called the default mode network, and it's a circuit of neurons that spans the frontal, parietal, temporal lobes. And what happens is when we stop, this activates. So we have this image, don't we, in our heads that rest is about switching our brain off. But what this new neuroscience is telling us is actually when we stop, this whole network in the brain starts lighting up. And it's where creativity lives, and it's where empathy lives, and it's where you make sense of the past, and it's where you imagine the future. And it's amazing because it only works when we're not focused. And that's magic, isn't it? Because that adds some science to a belief that I've had, or an experience I've had, where, you know, some of my best ideas come in the shower, or when I've gone for a 2-hour walk and I've actually stopped trying to solve the problem. Doing nothing isn't indulgent. It's a biological necessity. We need it. Our bodies need it. But also, if you look at wanting to achieve things, it's a key part of using the wonderful tool that is the brain to its full advantage. So let's perhaps, for now, dump all the shoulds and feelings of failure and, oh my God, I haven't done my 10,000 steps today stuff that you might have been thinking about, and start to celebrate the idea and the importance of rest. And rest can mean many, many things. Some of the scientifically proven stuff to switch on that default network and to make you feel like your mind is wandering and free is literally, and this sounds ridiculous, staring into space for 20 minutes. So, Yeah, we're not talking about sticking on the Headspace app or other apps. They are brilliant for learning how to meditate. But if we're doing that to achieve, to get the tick, to get the badge, it's not going to give us the same benefit as literally just allowing our mind to wander, which is what Headspace is ultimately talking about. Go for a long walk. Don't put your headphones in. Look around you. Sit on the train or the bus, or go for a cup of coffee and just look out the window and watch the world go by. Walk slowly through the woods. Give a tree a hug. Yeah, maybe getting too weird here, but again, science says it'll reduce your cortisol. I say it's lovely. Give it a go. Read before bed. 6 minutes reading before bed reduces stress by 68%, a recent study shows. So it's not I'm executing a perfect training plan. It's not trying to optimize self-care. It's just about thinking about the importance of rest, not as a reward that we get as a thank you for working hard. You know, fuck the idea that I'm going to slog my guts out till I'm 67 and then hopefully have some money to be able to go on a few holidays and rest. That's not the life I want, and I know it's not the life that many people want. Rest and living and being in the now and enjoying those moments is what it's all about. So I'm going to encourage you this week, perhaps even today, maybe even now when you switch this off, to do something a little different, to prioritise rest and play, and to do it because it feels good and for no other reason. Thank you for listening to this short episode of the Reflective Rebels podcast. These solo episodes are supposed to be little thoughts, little snippets of things that come in to coaching sessions when I'm working one-to-one with people on how to bring more joy into your life, how to structure your business, how to structure your way of working, how to believe in yourself and create the kind of life that you want to live. If you want to know any more about that, you can find me at reflectiverebels.co.uk. But for now, go find some joy.